Yes, now, and welcome back to episode 161 of the Top Loaded Podcast. And a massive thanks yet again for the guys over at Third Down UK for powering up this episode of the Top Loaded Podcast. Whether you need card supplies, custom card stands, grade preparation kits, or whatever your hobby needs require, they will have you covered. Head over to the website, check the link in our bio, head to their shop, and use the code TTP10 at checkout to save 10% off everything. And in this episode, it's just me. I wanted to talk about a few things, how I see the UK scene at the moment. Also, how to talk about the Fanatics collectible store a bit more, grading, sets, a little bit more of a relaxed episode. Guests will be starting to return from next episode onwards in the build up to the National, which is about 6 weeks away now. Not even that, about 5 weeks away, which I cannot wait for. So, I'm going to start talking about the Fanatics collectible store on Regent Street. And I'm not going to say it's all good. I'm not going to say it's all bad. I'm going to try and give a very true and honest representation of how I feel that store is being run. Because there's some things in there that I absolutely love, some things that I'm not too keen on. So we're going to talk about the first thing is the actual cards what are in the store. And I do think there's quite a good mixture. A lot of it is graded, of course. If for anyone who hasn't been there, most of the cards are located within one central room. As you walk through the main door, directly in front of you, there's a nice round table in the middle, which is more your higher end stuff. And then there's some glass cabinets either side, which have got a wide range of sports, TCG, graded, high grade, low grade cards. Of what I've seen, it doesn't see. I don't know. I don't think anyone really knows how big of an inventory the store does have for cards. I'm guessing it's quite big. However, since the first time I went in there, the only time it looks like they change around the cards is when something sells, which is I can understand from a store perspective. However, if stuff ain't selling, it seems to just stay at the same price and stay out. I'd like to see maybe some prices. The thing is, we know how the market works. It fluctuates quite a bit. Some things in there are good price where the prices have gone up. Some prices might have crashed and then they're still at the same price. But I think it would be quite nice if it had on like a conveyor belt system, the cards that do change quite often. It would give someone and people more reasoning to head down to the store if they know, oh, wait a minute, what's going to be in stock today? Will it be this? Will it be that? Wonder if they'll have any women's cards, which I'll get into in a minute. Obviously, the main stuff in there, which is always going to be key, is men's soccer. There's quite a lot of F1 in the store. Then there's quite a bit of the American sports as well, baseball, basketball, mainly because NFL's license has NFL's not much NFL, a little bit to be honest with you, but that's the only product they don't really release. They do a top scoring football, but it's not all that well. So talking about actual sets, so from my perspective, being greedy for the moment, talking about women's stuff. If you are a women's collector and you're thinking about heading to store, just don't bother. Really don't bother. So I made a TikTok about this about I think it must have been about a month ago now, 4 weeks ago. About I'm going to the Regent Street store. What stuff is there in there for the women's? And I can list you it all off the top of my head still. Women's stickers, which are fantastic. Women's hobby boxes, £120 a box. No one's paying that. In America, they go for about $55 a piece. And then there was free cards. And a Agabiva Jones Red Sapphire to 5 PSA 10. Lovely card at £200. Then there was a PSA 10 Alexia Porteas to 99 Queens of Football autograph card. And then there was a Alexia Porteas PSA 8 Inception to 10. That was it. So I would like personally, especially in the build up to the Euros is only about 2 weeks away now. I'd like to see a lot more women's stuff in there. But obviously, moving alongside that, because it's obviously a lot smaller market. Men's stuff, there's a nice range of stuff from Panini Prisms I've seen in there to obviously Topps Chrome, Topps Sapphire, which you would expect in that store. Good range of legends to youth players. I would arguably say maybe I'd like to see some more London teams in there, being a London store. I feel like that's a missing opportunity in there. I know when I spoke to people in the store before, they said the Arsenal stuff sells really well when it does end up in the store. But it's just, I'd like to know what the inventory is like for Topps at that store. Whether they've got thousands of cards sitting out the back or they've just got what they've got out and it's only a few selected ones. So moving away from actual individual cards, more looking at wax and products that are released in store. And obviously, there has been quite a bit of controversy, I'd say, on some of the more recent releases, such as Logo Fractor, Cricket, Sapphire. They're the three I'm going to focus on. Cricket is the main one I'm going to focus on to begin with. For people who don't know, it was a 5-card box, all in case, like all magged, 3 autos, 2 non-autos, 120 or 130 pound a box. So it was a week exclusive. So from tomorrow, I believe it'll be going on Topps UK website to purchase. But they said, oh, we've got stock of it in. Come down to the store and get some. We'll be splitting the stock 50-50 Wednesday to Thursday. Fair enough. Good idea. Make sure, I think it was restricted to, well, it's meant to be restricted to 1 per person. However, we know that's not the case. So on the Wednesday, a lot of people were ripping it. See some people do some really nice boxes. Topps, obviously, the shop themselves opened up a box. But then the Thursday, I was debating actually going down I was actually in the store the Thursday night, and I was I'm in an area. I was probably 50-50 whether I was going to purchase a box or not. No, not in stock. Just never even had them in stock the Thursday. So I don't know if someone's just sold all of the stock on the Wednesday or how it's worked. But that's rather frustrating because I think as well, I know people will say the game is the game kind of thing, but when they do bring out a lot of these releases, especially Fanatics, bring them out midweek really does, and at 10 a.m., does really limit what people can get to the store. The people that will be able to get to the store that day is where, if you're lucky enough to be in London on that day, or you've got a job within the hobby that allows you to go and travel there. So for anyone who's working a 9 to 5 or whatever shift it may be, can't get to the store maybe until a weekend. But then when you see the weekend, oh wait, there's no stock anyway, so we won't bother going. And that relates into my next talking point, which is Logo Fractor. An absolutely fantastic release. I don't think anyone's going to question the actual release itself as a card perspective. Fantastic, fantastic. Obviously, 2 packs what really mattered. 50-50 chance of an auto. It come out, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I do apologise. I believe it come out on £90 per box, and I think it was up to 5 boxes per person to begin with. Fair enough. Cheaper release, in-store exclusive, so all the cases are in the store. And then the next morning it reopens, maximum 3 per person, and I think it went up to £110, I believe, which already, in my eyes, is taking the mickey a little bit. I don't personally agree with it, and I think it's absolutely horrific, this dynamic pricing, which I will talk about because I will go into a rant on that one. But then for the third time, they try, oh, let's do it up again, and I think there's now up to £130 a box, and you're limited to 1 per person. I don't agree with this dynamic pricing. I think it's an absolute load of rubbish. Obviously, some people might disagree with me here, and I would like to hear other people's perspectives on this. So if you do have a difference in opinion, do let me know. I'm really interested to have a conversation. That if you bring a product out at £90 and 5 per person, that's what it should be until the product sells out. If it sells out in 24 hours at £90 at £5, 5 boxes per person per account, there, done, easy. You should not penalise people and put prices up. Why? So, for example, if you couldn't get to the store until the Saturday, for example, why should you then be charged an extra 30 quid and then you can't get 5? Whereas people who can get there on release get it for the cheaper price and can get 5. It just doesn't sit right with me. And I'm all game for accepting a dynamic pricing model, right? All game for it. But a dynamic pricing model doesn't just go up in price. It should go down in price as well. If there is a box in that store that is selling on eBay for, say, 80 quid, but you've got it in store at 150 quid, no, you shouldn't. Then that price should drop down. Then it should. They say it's to represent the market. If you're representing the market, it can go up and down. And that's the one thing. Women's Chrome, for example, was from a women's collector's perspective and anyone's collector's standpoint of anyone who's seen the product, it was a terrible release. Overprinted for the women's market. Singles are doing not very well at all. And when we look into this, and now we see it, and you can have a look if you want on eBay, 130 point, card ladder, whatever it may be. The hobby boxes from last year, I've had the opportunity to buy them at $45 to $50 per hobby. Yes, $45 to $50 per hobby. So say, let's just call it 40 quid. The price of them boxes in the Fanatics store on Regent Street is £120. £120 is 3 times the market price. So if you're going to put prices up, put them down. But now, if we look at another one, Sapphire, it just sold out straight away in stock. Obviously, it's a bit different, like the Cricket and Sapphire, to your logo fractors, which are the in-store exclusives. Personally, I believe, and I'm sure there's quite a few people would agree with me on this one, if you are bringing out an in-store exclusive, the price it comes out at is the price it stays. I can understand changing the quantity per person, like opening day, 10 people 10 boxes per person. But then when they start getting down to the last couple of cases, then drop it down, limit it to 2, 3 per person. That makes sense, but don't change the price. I don't agree with that personally, especially when I think now they're in store at £130 per box, which is about the eBay price. So if you're just going to match everything to eBay price, some of the other boxes in there should change price. I just personally don't get it. That's down to people out there to decide. What let me know, what do you think about the dynamic pricing of the Fanatics store? Because I'm not personally a big fan of it. PSA wise in the store, I can't comment on this. I've not graded through PSA with them, and personally, I don't think I ever will do. Personally, for me, I'd rather go to the people that I've graded before. If it's not for a friend, I recommend the grading club, obviously Aaron, or the sub center. I've used both of them and got a lot of cards graded with them in the past. But overall store experience, I still like, despite what people may think of what I'm saying, I still thoroughly enjoy going down to the store. And I think it acts now as a very nice meeting point with people as well. Oh, let's grab a beer or grab some food or whatever it may be. Let's meet at the Fanatics store, have a look round, and then we'll go off. Go off in there. So I'm a big fan of the store. Hope to see some more events soon. That would be quite nice. I was really hoping that they would do maybe a Women's Euros event in build up to the tournament, but it don't look likely. Maybe they might do this on release of the Women's Euro Merlin whenever it does come out. Hopefully we can get it during the tournament, but it's probably looking like September if I had to guess. So moving away from the Fanatics collectible store, I would say go and check it out. It's still good fun. Another thing I want to talk about is buying and selling at the moment. And I've been more active on eBay for the first time ever, really. I've never been a big eBay seller. To be honest, I've always just been lazy, a bit of a hoarder. I just like collecting cards. But I've started to try and get some cards out the door to be able to bring some nicer pieces / cooler pieces in for the PC. And I've got to say, on a majority, eBay has been very pleasant. And I spoke to a few people that they said, since the updates that eBay have brought out, it has been has been a better experience and easier to list stuff. Because I don't think anyone's gonna question me when I say it used to be a very tedious process to list stuff up on eBay. You could take 5 minutes per card, and like, no disrespect, I don't think no one in this world who has got a full-time job wants to be spending 10 to 20 hours a week listing up stock. And now you can get a card list up, take a picture of the front, back, any damage or numbering, whatever it may be. It can take 2 to 3 minutes per card. And the other day I'd done a job lot of about 25 women's cards, and I've already sold 7 of them. I've had offers on a couple of others, and it seems to be going really well. The overall experience, printing off the label, sticking it on the envelope, it's all good to go. The only downside, which I will say now, which I think to the new eBay policy, is the payout system. The payout system is quite intriguing in terms of you get your money, but you get it 48 hours after confirmed delivery. So that's 2 days afterwards. So I know before it was instantaneously you got the money, which was lovely in terms of when they paid it, you got the money most of the time. but now obviously you have to wait a little bit. So that's what it is. That's how it is going to be from now on. But still, I heavily recommend using eBay for selling cards. The market wise, obviously, if we talk non-Lamine Yamal, because his market is just absolutely bonkers. Obviously, people are prospecting him in America now. You got the 2026 World Cup in the United States. If Spain do well and he does well, oh my God, his prices might go into another stratosphere. But I think it's nice to see. So that's this time of period of year, June, July. People are on holiday. It's a bit quieter card shows wise. I know there's a couple coming up. So I'm quite intrigued. I've seen some good prices recently. Some people doing very well. Impeccable prices have been doing very well. Chrome is Chrome at the end of the day. Unless it's low print, you're not going to get good money for it. I think everyone knows that now. Logo Fractor's been doing good prices. Sapphire again looks fantastic. Image variations in that set, which I'm going to talk about briefly after this, absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I think the market's in quite a good place at the moment. I think I'm hoping now. So for people who are listening to this who might not know, PSA did change their. I did mention it when it first happened. PSA have changed their criteria for grading, and I tell you something, we are noticing it in submissions that I'm seeing get back. It is harder to get a PSA 10. That's simple. It's harder to get a PSA 10. PSA 9 now is a lot more respectable in my personal opinion, but you're seeing a lot more 876s. And I really, really, really hope that the market can respond to this. It should be getting back to the when I was first really starting to get in the hobby, a Raw was around a PSA 8. PSA 9 was a little premium, maybe double 1.5 to 2. And then PSA 10 back about times 5, say. Whereas now it's got to a point where PSA 9 is pretty much a raw price, if not less sometimes. And then a PSA 10 can range from anything from 2 to 5x, depending on the type of card. So I'm really hoping to see a reflection in the market soon of these PSA 9s actually doing better than raw. Because a PSA 9 is a very good grade. There's some cards that you see, and you see a PSA 9, you're like, how's this got a PSA 9? Like, this looks mint. So I'm very intrigued in that. Let me know have you graded any cards recently? If you have graded anything, what did they come back with? Was it above your gem mint rate? Was it below gem mint rate? So let me know. But just briefly talking about Sapphire, because I think it's a fantastic release. And I would say it's one of the landmark releases every single year. I think it's an absolute beautiful set. The red Sapphire is probably one of the best looking cards on the market. Obviously, then you get the Papadasharas, as well as the Super Fractors for the Sapphire selections. Image variations are one of the best sets of cards. This year, you've got the likes of Lamine Yamal, Martin Odegaard, R9, Ronaldinho. To name a few, there's quite a few other ones as well. And it's a great release. I've seen a lot of number per case, up to 4 number per box, 10 boxes per case. You're seeing 40, maybe just 45 numbered cards per case. So it's been a great release. Really look forward to seeing that. And we're now looking forward to a period of uncertainty within the card world. Obsidian is around the corner, which in aspect could be our last ever release of a Premier League product with Panini, which is quite sad. God knows how Topps are going to do their release schedule next year with Premier League and Champions League. It could be a set every other week. Really could be. Or even every week. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that over the coming months. But like I say, for me personally, I've made some quite cool pickups recently, which you can see on one of my TikToks. But I had this really cool piece arrive today, which I'm going to show you. And for context, I'm a massive basketball fan. I've only really ever collected D'Angelo Russell for my PC. But I go to watch the London team, obviously very small team, called the London Lions, and there's no cards, no stickers at all. Like, we don't get any collectibles at all. So when we do get a player, for example, that starts collecting, has cards or has moved on and got cards, I collect them. For example, it was Sam Decker. He used to be in the NBA, then played for the London Lions. But I picked up this really cool piece, and this is just something I want to talk about. I know it's not cards, but I wanted to get people's opinions. So I've got this here. I'm not going to take it out, but this is a match worn, actually playoff worn Aaron Rye jersey. And I wanted to ask people if you, I would say that 99.9% of people who are in the hobby, in the collecting sphere, would say that they collect something else. And for me, I love a match worn jersey. But my question is for you: in your PC, whether it's an Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham, Barca, Real Madrid, Detroit Lions, Los Angeles Lakers, New York Yankees, whoever it may be, even Formula One, do you collect anything what is not cards? Because I'm a massive fan. Tickets is another big one for me, and I can't wait for my. I've got a massive Beckett and PSA ticket submission out at the moment, which when that comes back, that'd be really fun to see. But what else do you collect? Because I feel like it opens the door to a lot more collecting, especially when it is your PC. For me, Arsenal Women's will always be my main PC now going forward, and I've got some really cool bits in there. But yeah, pickups wise, I'm trying to keep it on the quiet side. I'm building up to the national, but there will be. I can announce now there will be a national special the week prior. It might. I haven't thought of when it actually comes out, but it'd be either the week prior to the national or the week of the national. And don't worry, I'll be documenting the whole process of the national. I can't wait for it. It's going to be one of my favorite things. Me and a few of the guys as well going out there. So there'll be plenty of vlogs out there. I'll be doing all my content for TikTok. So that's going to be real fun. I can't wait for that. But like I say, it's a quieter-ish part of the year on the calendar. A lot of people are going away. People are saving money for holidays and stuff like that. But let me know in the comments down below, what have you been collecting? Who would you like to see on this podcast? Also, would you like to come on this podcast? If you fancy you coming on and you've got an interesting story to tell about how you're getting in cards, do let me know. Reach out to either the Top Loaded Podcast at Instagram or RP Trading Cards on Instagram. Let's have a chat, get you on. I want people from the community on. I set this podcast up to help grow the UK. So if you are in the UK, you might be starting up your business, starting up your channel, whatever it may be, get in contact. So I'd love to help you. And like I say, a massive thanks to every single one of you out there who've watched along or listened along to this episode. And a massive thanks yet again to the guys over at Third Down Displays for powering up this episode of the Top Loaded Podcast. Whether you need card supplies, custom card stands, great preparation kit, or whatever hobby needs you require, head over to their website, use the link in our bio, or head over to their shop and use the code TTP10 at checkout to receive 10% off everything you order. But and that's it. Thanks yet again. Hope everyone is enjoying the beautiful weather we're having in the UK at the moment. Let me know what card show you're going next, but hope everyone out there is doing safe buying, selling, trading, and all that good jazz. But most importantly, happy hobbying and